Well, hi everybody, it is Gordon Sanchez, and I just wanted to do a quick little cell vid, sort of to talk about, address is really a better word, address. You know, as the editor-at-large for the Gospel Coalition, one of the important things that I always try to remember is how important discernment is, you know. I've been working on an article this week on how terrible the movie I Still Believe about Jeremy Camp is, just because it's a Christian film, and we know Christian films are always pretty terrible. And it's hard getting back in the swing of things because I haven't actually written about entertainment, and since I wrote about how many gospel allusions there are in Game of Thrones, which was the last article I wrote about entertainment. But, when it comes to discernment, I've noticed that there are some ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, of course, because I think because the male tendency is towards fomenting discord at times, and that's a whole other thing. But one of the individuals that I've noticed has been especially maybe you should watch out for, especially those who pay attention to the things that we're putting out, trying to engage the culture, trying to love on people, just trying to encourage a biblical, thoughtful response to the issues of our day. There's a man named AD Robles who is, I think playing a part in fomenting some of this discord. And, I try not to call people out individually. I want to talk about principles. How do we apply them? Mr. Robles is really misguided at this time. One of the reasons for this is if you listen to this man, you'll hear his tone. His tone is not perhaps what you would qualify as fitting under the umbrella of the fruit of the Spirit. One of the greatest preachers in the last 500 years, Tim Keller, he talked about before that, there's what people say and what they're saying, but then there's what does that do?
It's not so much what it says, it's what it does. It's trying to marginalize people who are talking about race and justice. It's trying to say you're really not biblical.
A lot of the things that Mr. Robles says is what is it doing? Well, it's sowing discord. We should always remember that anybody who's sowing discord, we gotta stay away. And there's a deeper issue here. I think Mr. Robles, and I've heard some people call him Robles, but Mr. Robles, Mr. Robles is claiming to be, I want to be very tactful. I have very good reason to believe that Mr. Robles is not who he says he is. He claims to be Puerto Rican. And I have seen, I'm friends with many Puerto Ricans. Mr. Robles looks much more Sicilian to me, and my concern is that he may be hijacking, he may be culturally appropriating to the degree that he is actually claiming an ethnicity that's not his. And that's something that's very serious, because that would be cultural appropriation to a degree. You can imagine somebody changing their name. Wait a second. Really, in summary, I would throw it out there to Mr. Robles, or Robles, whatever his name actually is. Sir, if you really are Latino, then, maybe give us some evidence. Si puede hablar español, es muy importante que mostrar nosotros que pueda hablar.
Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía. Cada votante. La situación ahora es inaceptable.
Buenas noches, gracias de invitarnos. Recuerdo una vez que mi hijo fue a Ocala para jugar un juego de béisbol.
We are also praying for the people of Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. And we also love Puerto Rico.
Mr. Robles, I really think that it is very, very serious to culturally appropriate if that is what you're doing. So if you are actually Latino and you are using that as sort of a place to stand that gives you credibility, right? We might need some evidence of that, because it would be very damaging to the gospel if you would be appropriating somebody else's culture. So look for that article on how lousy the movie I Still Believe was, and and then and hopefully sometime in the next week I'm also going to write a follow-up piece to gospel elements in This Is Us. So Gordon out.